Hello everybody and welcome to Creativity Time. My name is Tatiana. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia, and every Wednesday I go live here on Facebook to spend some time being creative and hopefully inspire you to be creative too. Celebration is happening now. Celebration is where you can earn free products from the Celebration catalog simply by purchasing through my online store. And I am absolutely obsessed with the adorable little hippos. So the stamp set is called Hippest Hippos. How about I just hold that up? Hippest Hippos. They're so adorable, so many possibilities with them. And what I love is that you can also earn the coordinating dies for free. So that means you can earn 2 products for free and they worked well together. And who doesn't like a coordinating die? I mean, I don't mind fussy cutting, but the dies are amazing because they have other things. So they cut out the hippos, but they also cut out all these fun other things, like there's a little sailing boat, a little bathtub, umbrella, some flowers, water splashes, snorkel and mask. How adorable. Seriously, the little love hearts, the party hat, some way. Anyway, you get the idea. The die set is amazing. And since Celebration is still happening, so Celebration only runs until the 31st of August, and there are some other items you can get outside of the catalogue now as well. Anyhow, let's flip and start creating. So I've got some prep done, well, as in I've got this out. This is not straight. There, that's better. So here's the stamp set again, and I've got this little adorable hippo. And I have a piece of a grey granite cardstock here, something a little bit different. I have been stamping these hippos only on white cardstock, so I thought I'd do something different. So I'm inking them up in Stays On ink because I'm going to use my water painter. And otherwise, if I use the Memento ink, that's water-based and that will bleed. So I'm going to add those, and actually while I have the hippo stamp out, I always forget to do this, but I'm glad I've remembered. And I'm going to go with a landscape card today, so I'm just going to grab some white cardstock that will go on the inside of the card, and we're going to stamp, actually let's stamp the hippo here. Nope, can't do it. My trait, or kind of my signature thing, is to stamp the bottom right hand corner. And I'm going to grab my envelope and stamp on the top left. So the hippos are all stamped out. Now remember to cover up your Stays On ink because it can dry up, and you should look after your stamps that have been stamped using Stays On, and use the Stays On ink remover. So it's sold as well in my online store, and it comes with a little pad straight there. So you just tip it around and give it a light squeeze to get some of the cleaner flowing through that pad. And because this is a very permanent ink, you don't want it to dry and set on your stamps. And then I just simply take a chamois and wipe that off. I don't mind if my chamois gets stained. And I've never found any transfer. So that's good. Okay, I'll close the chamois. Now, let's get back to these hippos. I'm not sure if I want to use all 3 or not. And I'm going to grab Basic Grey. So this is a darker grey. Hey Joan, how's it going? Darker grey to what the hippos have been stamped in. And I'm going to flip it over and push down on the ink pad. And that transfers a little bit of ink. Of course, you can dribble some ink, re-inker onto the lid. I like to use the lids as a palette simply because I don't have to wipe that clean. It can stay there. And so there's less cleanup, there's less wastage because I can use the ink from there next time as well. So I find that as a really good benefit. Now I've grabbed a water painter with the fine tip, and we're going to add some, except there is definitely water in there. Don't know why it doesn't want to squeeze out. And it's not overfilled either. Interesting. Never had trouble before. Hello. Let's just grab. Oh, that one went. Too much water now. Anyway, so I'm going to water down that ink, and I'm going to use it to color, highlight, to add some depth to my hippo. And so the paper, the cardstock, should I say, let's color actually, before I give it too much depth, let's color him in all in grey to make that area darker in comparison to his face and belly. So I saw someone else, I don't remember if they used watercolors or what, but I thought it was a clever idea to stamp the hippo in grey, because my natural instinct has been to use white cardstock and colour him in grey. And even though I'm still colouring, I am using the benefits of the cardstock, so I don't have to colour in the bits that I don't. And they're still grey. And it just gives you a little bit of a different look. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to share that here with you guys. So you can try something different. And think outside the box as well. I'm having trouble doing hippos a different colour, but I have seen some fantastic examples out there on the web where people have coloured their hippos all sorts of beautiful colours and they look fantastic. Let me know in the comments, have you got the stamp set yet, and have you tried your hippos in a different colour? And which colours did you try? Because I'd love to hear. So you could use pencils at this point. You can use Stampin' Blends, but if you're using your Stampin' Blends, make sure you use the Memento ink, not the StazOn. I just felt like some watercolouring, and that's why I have chosen to watercolor. But yes, you can absolutely use your Stampin' Blends, or you could use the blender pens with some ink just like that without the diluting it. What are your pencils? We have a basic grey pencil, so you could add some pencil. You could smudge it out with either the water pen or the blender pen. You know, so many options here. I love having options when it comes to my creating. And I'm just going to add some detail by adding some darker bits, some shadowing. I might miss comments during the live, just to let you know, but I do go back at the end of this live. I'll sit down on the lounge, chill, and read all the comments and reply and respond to any questions. So don't be disheartened if I miss it, because I'm concentrating what's happening on the table and the comments disappear after a few seconds. How fun is this? Let's see, let's think about love you ton. Love you a ton. You're so hip. What sentiment do you think we should do? And what I like to do is to take my chamois and use that to clean my brush off so that I'm not wasting extra paper towels or tissues. And the chamois can take some water and it gets rinsed off later anyway, so it's not a big deal. So I'm going to just down a little bit, make it easy to go through the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. Oops, that wasn't dry. It's okay. And now we're going to grab the coordinating die. And the mini cut and emboss machine. I love these dies fit. Where did the plates go? Like that. Right underneath. And just a little bit of a post-it tag to hold that in place so it doesn't move as I get the How adorable is he? Sorry, I don't know what's with the lighting today. He's so cute. Hello, Roz. Oh, and hello, Kathy, I guess. Sorry, I didn't see you come pop on, Kathy. Have you tried, Roz, stamping your hippos on grey cardstock and then adding some detail? It's so much fun. Thanks, Joan. And I feel like doing a bit of a water scene because I haven't used the dies yet. Well, the water dies, I've used some of them. Should we do a bathtub or a boat? I'm gonna go with the boat. We'll die cut the boat, and so we'll need some water. It's all good, Kathy. I could have missed the little notification even as well, so it's not a big deal, really. What color should we do the boat? Brown. Let's do brown. Soft suede. Actually, pick that out. Where's... Yes, good excuse, it's late. So I'm just trimming that down so that it can fit nicely, and I think some balmy blue will be perfect. I've got heaps of balmy blue scraps too. Let's see if I can use some of those up. Ah, this die does cut-ins. Ooh, what can we do with that? Let's try this. Well, that means I'm going to have to get the big one, which I don't really want to do. Sorry, I am thinking out loud because this is how my videos fly. I don't pre-design anything. I pretty much craft on the go. And that's simply because if I had to pre-design and then recreate, I wouldn't be doing lives. Okay, so I've got my boat, and I'm going to add my little wave. And the only reason why I'm taping down the wave is because I want that edge to still be there. Where's the top plate? That. And roll that through. Oh, there. Can you see the detail? So it gives you some stripes to your belt. And there we go, we can add our little hippo to be in the belt. And this is what I mean by the dies. Oh, so I'm gonna snip that out, but I'll do the other side first. And I'm going to do another one. Ooh. And one more. How can I misplace the plate so quickly? There. Honestly. Ooh. There we go. We have some waves. And just use paper snips to cut. And I feel like adding some detail to these, well, dimension maybe, not detail, but dimension to these waves. So I'm going to grab balmy blue ink with my blending brush and blend on. And the camera probably doesn't pick it up. It's very subtle, but there is some deep depth to these waves now with the ink being placed at the top of the wave. So it does give a little bit of dimension and depth and interest to them. And might do the same to the boat. What was that? Soft suede. So I'm using the same color ink pad as the cardstock. And the boat I'm going to ink up from underneath. As so. Messy desk. So I'm really happy with that. What I'm going to do, the puffy paint. Yes, brilliant. Who said that? I saw the comment, I just didn't quite catch the name. Let's use the puffy paint. Roz, that was you. Yes. Oh, come on. Glue. This glue is being temperamental. Let's try another. Yay. Let's add some puffy paint. Yeah. So let's sit that, and let's add some puffy paint. Where did I put mine? Okay, so mine's from the last time we had it, so hopefully it's still okay. Oh, I can't even open it. Oops, let's use had to dig mine out. I'm glad I didn't sell it, but I might have to buy a new one because I can't open it. No, as fantastic as that idea was, we're going to have to pass. Yep. But we will create a nice card anyway. So I'm going to add that there. We can add some waves over there and another back here. So I am doing a landscape card today. And I'm just trying to think, what background should we do? Let's do some more blending since we've already started the blending whole thing. And you know what? I know that I'll probably end up using just one. Okay, cool. Thank you. I will try that. But we might place our little hippo right there. So I'm going to glue him down. And then I'll trim off the edge. Down, and I'm going to grab another one of these and I'm going to mask off. So I'm going to grab our masking paper and I've learned a trick or two. The backing paper there. So before I found the masking paper a little too tacky, perhaps. Well, that's the backing paper. So I need to trim that. Oh well, that's right. And so what I'm going to do is rub it onto my sweater. So that was the tacky end. So now I've removed some of the tackiness. That sounds terrible, tackiness. This is 10, so I wanted about 3 centimeters. I'm using my grid lines here. And I'm going to mask off the bottom approximately third. Not straight. But by rubbing it on my sweater first, it adds a little bit of stuff to the tackiness, and that means that I won't have any trouble removing it, and it won't peel my paper. So I'm going to blend some balmy blue, since we used balmy blue, and then we're going to do this doesn't feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is straight. For a second, it just doesn't look straight, but it is. Maybe it's because of the brown. What was I saying? So since I chose to die cut the water from balmy blue, that's why I'm going to do balmy blue. And then we might do a sunsetty kind of scene. Or, I don't know. Well, here, let's do a little vote. Do you think I should do the sky in a blue? Give me a thumbs up. Or if you'd like me to do more of a sunset kind of tone, give me some love. Either in the comments or just hit the reaction buttons in the video. If you're watching on YouTube, your vote won't be used just simply because this is live, but I would love to hear your opinion. What would you have liked me to try? I'm seeing a love heart. So there we've got that ocean. Sunset. Roz is saying sunset. Let's see. This is what we're going to do. Sunset. Okay. I think Wendy has also said sunset. I think we're going to go with sunset. Okay. So for that, I am now going to reverse my masking. Joan has also said sunset. Okay, so I'm reverse masking. So I'm covering up the water that we've just masked. And now I've got to remember what colours I like to use for sunsets. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so here's one of my samples of, I can't remember if this one was, yes, Wendy, I'm reading your comment, and yes, I'm still learning to use the paper, the masking paper too. But so I've kept one side with the backing paper so I can reuse the sheet, and I'm keeping this backing paper and I'll put it back on at the end. But I've masked that off. I don't remember which one was a sunset and which one was a sunrise. But anyway, the colours are quite similar actually. So we're going to do more yellow colour in the bottom, yellow, orange, a purple, and then into the blue. And what I'm going to do is, where is it? Not that one. There it is. I have here, I've used the, grabbing the dies. Okay. So I've used the basic border dies and a sheet of window sheet, a 6x6 piece of window sheet, and I have die cut the clouds. And so that's how I'm going to create my sunset. So I'm going to start with yellow, and I feel like using So Saffron. So I'm going to start with that, and then we'll move into Mango Melody. So I'll have the first two colours kind of out. Oh, let's keep going. Mango Melody into Fresh Freesia. I'm picking more pastel-y colours. 1, 2, 3. What was 2, 3, 4. And then we've got the Balmy Blue. Yellow, orange. Oh, we could do a bit of pink before the blue, or between. Might add a little bit of polished pink between the Melon Mambo and the Fresh Freesia. Just a itty bitty bit. So I'm just grabbing blending brushes. I've got them all. Okay, so starting with, what was that? Soft Saffron. Good night, Sylvain. I hope you have a good night. May I just say that Quebec is on my bucket list of places to visit. Okay, so I'm adding just some yellow on the bottom there, just on that horizon line. And now I'm going to take my clouds and the Mango Melody, which is my pick for orange. And I'm going to start, I can start on the acetate or off the paper. The point is not to start on there. And there, we've got our first layer. I'm going to just kind of slightly wipe that and flip it so that the clouds aren't all going the same way. And I'm going to close my ink pads as I finish with them. So now I'm going to do a little bit of polished pink. It's been a while since I've done this. I really love this technique. Again, starting off the paper, blending that, and flipping over Fresh Freesia. Wow, this card has gone so different to what I initially had thought in my head. But I love it. That's what I love about these lives. I love that I don't know exactly what's going to happen. And if you were a bit more careful, you should really clean the mask between the colors, and then you wouldn't get such ink blending, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'm then the balmy blue, what I'm going to do is just blend it from the top down. So what I'm going to do is place the mask, like my homemade mask, back over there, and then bring that down. And ideally I would have done this on a slightly larger piece of cardstock than I intend to use. So I can still fix that. Exactly, Wendy, they do blend together on a sunset, but I did want that purple to be more purple. So I'm just going to add, now that I've cleaned it, add that purple into that blue and kind of blend it up into the blue. My fresh freezer needs reading too. I forgot about that. That's okay. So now I can carefully peel. Oh no, it's doing it. Just careful. Peel. I did get a little bit of a tear there, but we're going to cover that up. So I'm going to now take that backing paper and place it back, and I can reuse that bit of masking paper again. It doesn't stick as well, but remember the other side is still quite clean, so I don't want to throw that out. If you wanted to, you could just chop that off and throw that out. And what I'm going to do is trim that all down. So I'm going to trim it a couple of millimeters along every edge, because the edges tend to get that little bit more of heavier ink, and that removes that. So my tip when blending an entire background is to start with a slightly larger piece of cardstock than what you intend your card base to be, or your card front to be. So now we can put our little waves on. I'm going to start with putting that one there. And I like to add the glue to the item that I'm sticking down, not the other way around. Oh, you love the edge framing. Yeah, well, that's true, Wendy. You can do that too. There's really no right or wrong in the creativity process, can I just say? So we're going to put our little hippo on the boat right there, and I'm going to put him up on dimensionals. But that's, I mean, it's a personal preference. And I prefer to use, and dimensionals, the number of dimensionals is also a personal preference. I prefer to use a few extras. So he's going right there. And then we're going to add that there. So I'm going to add some glue to just those two kind of waves. And then a dimensional minis will be perfect for this. You can never have too many dimensionals. I love it. Gotta make sure it's down properly. That one's just gone off the edge ever so slightly. So our little hippo with that wave is going to go there. And hello, Elfie. And then we're going to add that wave there. So I'm just going to stick that down and trim off the excess. And what sentiment? I feel the sunset kind of gives me a moody and not so much gloomy, it's a happy sunset, but a emotional kind of scene in comparison. So for that reason, and you can disagree, off to La La Land. Love it, Elfie, enjoy. But I feel that, or You're Really the Best is like an emotional kind of sentiment, and or Love You Ton, but I feel like it needs a bigger sentiment, so that's why I think that one. But let me know in the comments. I'm going to just put the case right there so you can see the different sentiments. Let me know, which one do you think fits, because sometimes I put the sentiment based on what I create, really. I'm going to trim this hippo now that he's all stuck down and dry. And I'm going to use the Balmy Blue for the card base. But I don't have one. You love the sentiment I chose? Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. I'm scoring. I always score my cardstock in half first, because that way I can score once and cut once and have 2 card bases as quickly. So I'm just going to use Balmy Blue. I could try a whole bunch of colors, but and I'm going to stick down our inside of the card. Never need a lot of the glue, you just need a little bit, because it is very stronghold glue. And then you can place that right there. Oh, the sentiment. I wanted to do the sentiment first, because sometimes glue can add a little bit of, oh, thank you so much for the hearts and the thumbs. So sweet. But sometimes when you add the glue, it adds a little bit of dimension, even if you try your best to not. And so I want to stamp the sentiment, that's where I was going with, before I stick that down. So I'm using the Stays On again, and I am totally winging it in the sense of, is it straight, is it not? And remember, try to clean that as quickly as possible so that you're not setting that Stays On, which is a permanent ink, onto your stamps. It's the only ink that I try to clean as soon as I finish with the stamp. And now for the glue. And I think we need a little bit of bling, just because, and I know the perfect bling to add, and that is some Wink of Stella splatter, because it's been a while and I feel like doing it. So squeezing some out, making sure there's some flow. There we go. Thank you so much. And there, you can see the splatter. Perhaps it would have been best if I did that before I stuck the hippo down, but that's okay. So there's something very different using the Celebration Hippest Hippos and Hippo dies. Both are still available here in Australia, though we have been pre-warned, or there has been some forecasting saying that the Hippo dies will not last till the end of Celebration, which is the 31st of August. So if this is something that you really like, I would suggest making sure you place your order before they run out. Thanks, Joan. So there we go. There's my Hippo card. I am really happy with that. And I got to use the boat because that's something I haven't used yet. So isn't that always fun? Oh, and the little waves, I hadn't used them yet too. So I love creating something that I can use bits that I haven't tried out before. So thank you so much for joining me, whether you've been watching live here on Facebook or you're watching the recording either on Facebook or YouTube or sitting on my blog. I appreciate you taking your time and spending some of it with me. Essentially, like, I may not be there physically, but you are spending it with me, and I really am truly grateful for that opportunity. I'll be live again next week, Wednesday, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and who knows what I will create. Like I said, I go with how things go on the day and see what I feel like creating. Likely to be celebration, one more celebration thing, because it's still August and still things, but we shall see. I hope that I have inspired you to go and do something creative. It could be tiny, it can be small, it could be stamping one thing and colouring. It doesn't have to be a full project. I just really hope that you can get some benefits of being creative for yourself. Thank you so much, and bye for now.